This is the Digital Savage Experience Podcast, hosted by Roman Prokopchuk, bringing you all things digital marketing, tech, business, and motivation. What's stopping you from becoming relentless in all aspects of life? Are you ready to become a digital savage? Let's get into today's episode.
Hey everyone, this is Roman Prokopchuk, and this is Digital Savage Experience, Episode 20, Entrepreneurs, Young People, and Mental Health. So mental health is very important, obviously. You can't do anything without being of sound mind, per se. And in this country, mental health is overlooked in the general population, especially people struggling with mental health, depression, and other issues in kind of the entrepreneur CEO, founder sphere as well as many young people growing up today not knowing how to cope with their emotions or what they're dealing with or struggles they're having, that there is an outlet and not to take things obviously out of proportion into levels where they can turn it around. I wanted to do this episode this week because last week someone that my younger brother, was friends with since second grade took his own life because of the stuff he was struggling with, including things that could have been changed, things like being in debt 6 figures from law school, getting thrown out of law school, and it was kind of a spiraling effect for this person where they thought there was nothing else that they could do and this is the way out. But money comes, money goes, jobs come, jobs go. Just because you didn't, finish law school or got thrown out of school, that doesn't define one law school or one person's opinion about you. Doesn't define who you are as a person or your intelligence level. There's an awesome kind of quote about education where it's, the person told the goldfish to climb a tree. Well, that goldfish was the worst tree climber out of anyone that was told to climb the tree, but obviously that's not natural for the goldfish. The goldfish will excel in water. It's kind of like that. Just because he went to law school doesn't mean he should be a lawyer. There's other things out there. You can always get out of debt. You can restructure it. Financial things can always be changed, but you have to be able to have breath in your lungs and wake up the next day and be motivated to do so. A lot of people lack motivation, a lot of people lack mental clarity, and just positivity. Many young people, entrepreneurs and young people in general, all walks of life, haven't really been brought up, I think, in the last few generations to cope with adversity, cope with stress, cope with anxiety, and really turn that into something positive. I feel like anything wrong that happens now, people need designated safe spaces and people getting quote unquote triggered. I've never heard that when I was growing up. I'm 33 currently. When I was growing up in the early 2000s, there wasn't a word triggered. There wasn't a word like I need a safe place. I think people in terms of their upbringing knew how to deal with their emotions better in that time frame. Maybe not, but that's just my opinion. But now anything that is of you that doesn't agree with yours and is upsetting you, you're automatically triggered. There has to be a better way to deal with those emotions, including things like depression. This person that took his own life, that was friends with my brother, he had to have other things going on in terms of some kind of mental instability. It's always a compounded effort. So one thing leads to another, and then it feels like you can't get out of those things. And then obviously that was the last straw. I mean, it's very sad taking your own life. You take your own life, that's basically game over. You can't change anything. You can't right your wrongs. You're leaving your family. You're leaving your friends. It's actually a selfish move because if you can wake up the next day, anything's a possibility. You can get a job. You can get into another school. You can found a company. You can repair a relationship. As long as you have air in your lungs and a heartbeat, you can change the direction and the path of your life. Obviously, you take your own life, that's not an outcome for the future. But other things you see all the time, you see all these shootings, you see all this crazy stuff going on, people turning to violence, just exploding. People don't know how to distress, people don't know how to cope, people don't know, just like take a deep breath and just relax. There's people that should be on medication that aren't, people that aren't diagnosed. Like, just ask somebody how their day is. Things like that even help. People feel like even maybe if they don't have a mental illness but are suffering, let's say, for depression, well, it may be from a mental illness, it may just be from stress, or a death in the family, a death of a loved one, or something traumatic they've experienced. It may be from that, but anything can be changed. You can get out of anything. But in terms of an entrepreneur, oftentimes if you're a founder of a company, if you started something, some kind of business, if you're, a modern day entrepreneur, hustler, whatever you want to call it, just out there learning, making money, you take a lot of stuff out of your life. If you really are truly a hustler, your social life a lot of the time kind of suffers, in terms of you're using all your time to educate yourself, to create business. You're not really thinking about, at times, romantic relationships, friendships, social interaction even. Sometimes you're, in the office, in the lab, wherever, in a basement, just trying to get things going, trying to get a company off the ground. And oftentimes those long hours, that isolation, breeds to a mindset that starts getting depressed. The humans are, social creatures. They need interaction. They have to be around other people. Where I think you get to a place where it's a little bit unstable. So things like that, things like identifying those situations and creating outlets for entrepreneurs, creating outlets for young people, creating outlets for anyone that's going through anything, whether it's, a loss, a traumatic event, an illness, a disease, anxiety, anything, any form of depression, any mental illness, to better diagnose it and get the right tools to help them succeed. Also, a lot of the time, regardless of that, if you see somebody down, because from body language, sometimes you can tell in public if something is wrong. Even if you don't know them, just say, are you all right? Regardless if they say just give them a kind word, like, you're important. God bless you. I'll be praying for you, this and that. You're doing great. Whatever you're doing, you seem like, you have your head on your shoulders. Just a positive act can really, regardless of how small it is or how big, it can really set up somebody to, somebody cares. The stranger actually reached out to me. Maybe I shouldn't do something. Maybe I shouldn't harm myself. Maybe I shouldn't turn to drugs, alcohol, whatever my vice is. Maybe I should just, rethink this. Just a kind word, or anyone in your life that seems like you haven't spoke to before, just saying, hi, how's it going? Is everything all right? Because honestly, everyone's dealing with something, regardless if they seem like they have the most perfect life on Instagram or Snapchat or Facebook, social, or just out and about in social situations. Obviously, people are being like on their best behavior and showing that they have such a great life. People aren't, losing it in public a lot of the time. So behind closed doors, if you don't know that person intimately, you don't know what they're going through. So just say, hi, I see you, you're not alone, so on and so forth. Just one sentence can really set somebody up for success and snap them out of a funk. This issue is a growing issue, I think, in general, because the way kids are growing up, it seems, they can't cope with anything, regardless if they have some kind of mental instability or mental illness, or it's just they can't just deal with their emotions properly. They've never been taught the mechanism in which you turn anger or anxiety or hate into something positive, or don't let it manifest into something to begin with. with any of that, regardless, you should be planting seeds of positivity, just reaching out to people. Like I said, say hi, say, how's your day? Regardless, if the person says it's great, regardless, say, you may or may not be dealing with something, but, I want to tell you that you're important, keep your head up. Planting those seeds of positivity basically kind of plant things for the future, also benefiting you as a person and them. It's the same thing with business. It's the same thing with finances. So with business, give for free and don't expect it in return. Give more than you receive. And eventually those seeds of business and prosperity will turn into, plants that bear fruit. It's the same thing with kindness. It's the same thing with empathy. If you show people and generally be a good person, it will get returned. It may not seem like it, because for the last few weeks and few months, I've had situations on a weekly basis where people are rude, no empathy, no respect, no anything, but it's like a test. That all goes away. Those people go away. They're not in your life. They're irrelevant. The person honking at you, cursing at you, getting road rage, his life or her life is probably miserable. They're going through things too. Don't stoop to people's level just because they're emotionally immature, emotionally not developed as an adult and never really attained the skills to deal with things. Just brush it off and don't stoop to their level of, rage, because they'll consume you as well. So just in general, in everyday life, just be a good person, have a sound mind, be there for others. And like I said, I don't think anything you do in life, you should take your own life as a solution, because then you can't solve any problem when you're gone. You can't solve problem for yourself. You can't solve problem for the loved ones that are going to be heartbroken over what you did and your loss in general. Not even so how it happened, just you not being there. And you're missing out on so much life and so much what life has to offer. Just because you have, 1 year, 1 week, 1 month of bad times, negative things in your life, seeming like you're never going to get out of something, that can all change in an instant. You can meet the right person, you can, make the right connection, and then have, tens of prosperous years to come. But you'll never know that if, you do something that ultimately ends your life. So I think I wanted to mention this and be personal in this podcast. I love just being personal and myself. No edits, straight from the dome, mainly no script, sometimes an outline, just thoughts I have about personal things, about motivation, about, like I said today, mental health, and just entrepreneurship and marketing, digital marketing as a whole. And even the facts that I, throw out there and the studies and things that I'm running, it's what I'm doing, what I've done. This isn't like any kind of reading straight off a script or anything. It's just me. I just want to add value to people, and hopefully in the near future have guests, get featured and be a guest on other podcasts to show my expertise and bring some kind of value to everyone. But like I said, anyone that ever has any questions, wants a specific topic covered on this podcast, wants to reach me, I'm available through social or through my email or through the company website or anything, any way you can reach me. I'm more than happy to respond, provide feedback. I just want to add value and deliver something of worth. So if anyone needs something, I've, in the past 2 months alone on Instagram, have given out tens of free consultations in terms of digital marketing that normally anyone would charge you, including myself, if I was charging tens of thousands of dollars. But I just wanted to give back and do things that not necessarily were done for me, to help me with something that I need, but I'm not looking for that as a whole. So thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Provide feedback, whatever you guys need. Have a good one.
This podcast has been brought to you by Nova Zora Digital. Find out how Nova Zora Digital can help your company grow online. Learn more at novazoradigital.com. Until next time, all you digital savages.